Date night at a lover's lane takes a horrific turn for two 50s era teenagers with dark secrets to hide. Join me for an exclusive interview with director and screenwriter J.M. Kallet to discuss his film entered into the 2024 Oxford Film Festival, Show and Tell.
I was talking to a film school buddy of mine before I had moved to LA, who lived in LA at the time, and we were looking to shoot something together because I wanted to go out and spend an extended period of time in Los Angeles just to get a feel for it. I knew I was going to move there, and so we were looking for a project, and I essentially took a scene out of the script and sort of tweaked it so that it would work as a standalone story. And I'm trying to remember, somebody had suggested to me the idea of setting it in the 1950s, and I just thought that was really cool because I like the idea of having this sort of, people, like my mom, for instance, they really romanticize like bygone eras, like the 1950s, without realizing there was like a really dark time, and there were a lot of dark things happening, as there are always with humanity. But I like the idea of sort of this something sweet and innocent on the surface, and then the horror lurking underneath. And so that's and then we ended up shooting it in one night in Thousand Oaks at a place called Film Canyon Ranch, which was a great location. They were awesome.
Wow, you managed to do all that in one night.
We did. We actually didn't get everything though. I got to be completely full disclosure. So the opening shots, we rented a real '57 Chevy Bel Air, but the opening shots where they're driving up the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, I had to fly back because we ran out of, usually you run out of daylight, we ran out of nighttime. The sun was coming up. So we tried pulling the car in, and we were on a sort of bumpy clearing that worked really well for when they were parked, but a '57 Chevy Bel Air is not designed for off-road driving, so we really couldn't get it in there to get any of the shots of them pulling in, because I had all this beautiful, I even did like animatics for it, this low to the ground shot where they would pull in and park. So we couldn't get that. So I ended up flying back, and we went out onto the PCH, and we were driving, also not the best idea, driving a '57 Chevy Bel Air up the cliffs of the PCH, but we managed to do it. So that's how we got those shots. But everything else, dialogue and everything, we got on the night. And then of course it was a lengthy post-production process.
Is this your first time shooting a horror movie?
Yes, I did. This is my second short. I did a short thriller, which is my first one. It's called Forum, which turned out pretty good. It was two guys in a warehouse sort of confrontation scene. So this was definitely, I guess, more of my, something that I'm more interested in. I like sort of horror. I like B movies that are actually made like as A movies. I always remember Ridley Scott with Alien. He's like, let's take a B movie and make an A movie out of it. So hopefully I made an A short out of a B short concept. I don't know. But my first horror, and the features that I've written are actually, they're horror too. Different styles of horror, but I guess I like horror. I never set out to be like a horror guy, but I'm a fan of it, certainly. So yeah, I guess that bleeds into my work.
Well, there's something with making a genre piece. It gives you some tools to work with. And helps the audience kind of know what to expect. Did you play with that intentionally with this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I love that genre can be a fun way to, if you like that sort of thing, to explore sort of deeper, darker thematic elements. But yeah, I wanted it to sort of, the setup. Obviously, I wanted the twist to be unexpected, right? So the setup, I researched a lot of like old dating reels from the 1950s, which are very, if you go back and look at those, they're very odd. They're like instructional videos on how to date and court somebody. And so that was sort of a reference in terms of some of the dialogue that was used, some of the sort of vernacular, the slang. But I like the idea, again, of this sort of sweet moment between two young, seemingly innocent people, but they each have these sort of dark secrets to hide. And you know, of course, we always think that the guy is going to be the one that overpowers the woman, but I like the idea of shifting that power dynamic. You know, she's like a Venus flytrap. She's got him right where she wants him, so to speak. So
yeah, it was fun to see the woman come out on top for once.
yeah, and then we also, you know, like this stuff with like, I guess, I don't know, am I giving too much away for the interview? But some of the campy elements, I sort of, I like that, you know. I like unapologetically, you know, schlock to me is not a bad word. Camp is not a bad word to me. It's like, if you're gonna go for it, just go for it. And I liked having a little bit of an 80s practical goopy effects influence kind of
very
shoehorned in there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way it came out.
Well, you mentioned possibly turning this into a feature.
Yes.
What would make that possible?
Well, the feature is actually quite different. I've actually thought about this would become a completely separate feature from what I took it from. The feature takes place modern day. It's a daughter of a megachurch pastor who witnesses him do something unexpected and very evil to one of his assistants, and it starts to bring up all these memories. And it's very. I'm still trying to figure out how to pitch it to people. It's very hybrid in terms of. It's a coming of age story. It's a. It doesn't really cover traditional religion. You know, it's not like an exorcist or Catholicism or Christianity or any of that stuff. But there are some sci-fi elements to it, and but she ends up developing abilities, and so that was the scene where she has an abusive boyfriend who she finally decides that she's had enough, and he meets a similar fate in the car at a lover's lane at night. But it's modern day. Mm-hmm. So, and as far as getting it made, that's going to be a long road. I've got a couple other features. I've got another feature that's a little bit more low budget that I'd like to start small and sort of, if I could dictate how a career would progress, it would be start small and like baby steps to bigger projects, because there's a lot of visual effects in the feature script. But I think, you know, I think I was able to develop that sort of skill set with this short. You know, this is the first time I've really done anything with visual effects like that, and so understanding what could and couldn't be done. It was a great learning experience for me. We had a great VFX team. Hoodie Effects, led by this guy Dennis Romanov from Russia.
Yeah.
Cool guy. Yeah. Great guy. I mean, he's been here a while, so, but he's yeah, we're looking to work with him again on something. So
I hope that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fun little tidbit. So we Mary, the lead actress, had I don't know what you call them, the hoop earrings in the upper lobe of your ear, and they didn't have those in the 1950s, but nobody caught it when we were shooting. So we were like 2 months into post-production. Most of the VFX shots were already done. And suddenly I went back to Dennis and said, can you paint out these earrings? And so he did, and I don't know if you could notice anything there, but it was,
I didn't notice a thing.
Yeah, and it wasn't simply, it was, again, a learning experience, because it's not simply a matter of like painting them out, clone stamp. You have to 3D, you know, put the skin behind the ear, match its movements and everything. So again, it was an interesting learning experience, but yeah, so. I was sort of embarrassed, like I'm the director, I should catch that stuff, but I didn't, so, you know.
Yeah, it's the little things.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we screened it for some friends, and it was the first thing they noticed, and I was like, shit, I I got to take care of that because I didn't notice it. So yeah, but it's been great. This is the first time I've taken it to a festival, so watching it with an audience for the first time was nerve-wracking, but exciting. Yeah.
What made you pick the Oxford Film Festival?
Well, I wanted I like niche festivals, smaller festivals, but also I had read a little bit about it, and Festival Formula actually I had volunteered at Holly Shorts in Los Angeles last summer, and they did a panel, Festival Formula. It's this husband and wife team from the UK, and they've got a team working for them, but they essentially take your short if they choose to work with you and babysit it is like what they like to call it, because they know what the niche festivals, the big outside the big festivals, they know like the legit ones, and Oxford was one of the legit ones, and so we talked about it and we submitted it, and I was thrilled to get in here because I've never been to Mississippi. I don't know, I like going to new places and meeting new people, and it was like, yeah, let's go for it, because we did shoot for the Moon initially. We did a round of like Sundance and Toronto and all that stuff, and we knew we weren't going to get it. It's a very specific short, and so I wanted to hit one of the niche festivals, but still one of the, I think Oxford is like in Filmmaker or Movie Maker magazine's top 50 festivals to enter. So that was kind of how we got, because I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of Oxford before Film Festival or Festival Formula came to me with it, and I was like, this sounds great. So yeah, I was glad we got in. I wish more of the team could have made it, but it's just me here. So
well, hopefully it's been a good time and a good experience.
Yeah, it's been great. Love it here. I would come back, definitely. I'll make something new and bring it back.
We'll look forward to covering it.
Awesome. Thanks, man. This has been great.
Well, to wrap things up, do you have anyone or anything you want to give a shout out to?
Well, you can follow me at JM Kallet on IG. Also, my producer at Murray Mile, and just the cast and crew. I mean, there's too many people I won't list everybody here, but shout out to everybody that worked on Show and Tell. It's great to finally be able to show off their work, because it was really it was a really fun, good experience, and everybody really busted their ass, and it was all hands on deck, and I think we made something very cool. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of them. So that's it.
That's great.
Thank you for
Jay, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.